Hello, friends. We are going to make the cutest bird's eye view card today, and stay tuned to the end of the video so you can see a sneak peek of the class that I'm teaching to go. So it's available for everyone, no matter where you live. It's going to be shipped to you with a PDF and video, and we're going to learn more about watercoloring. So when I saw this bird's eye view set, I knew I was going to have to pull out my water painters and really get cracking on coloring. And I wanted to teach a class about that. So make sure the information in this YouTube video and this Facebook Live is, there's a link to register for the watercolor class. You need to do that, I think, by the 22nd, something like that. It's going to say when it's due, but don't delay. You would definitely want to take this class. So we're going to use this bird's eye view stamp set with the Timeless Arrangements Masterfully Made Designer Series paper. This is my favorite sheet in the set of designer paper. But we have so many cool patterns in it. So we're going to be using a lot of these during the class. You'll receive the designer paper with your class. Super fun. All right. So let's get started. We're going to start with a piece of fresh freesia cardstock. And to make a card base, you're going to cut at 4 1/4, and then you're going to turn it and score it at 5 1/2. So sometimes I do that really fast, and maybe you don't even know how I do that. Now you know. Hello. All right. So there's that. And then we're going to stick down a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 piece of this designer paper, and it's I love it because it's monochromatic. You could use this side as well, but I'm choosing this side today. And then what I'm going to do is take this strip of designer paper that I love the most, covered up. Okay, and I'm going to cut a 2-inch strip of this, 2-inch by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 2-inch, and then I actually want a little bit more of that to show this time, so I'm going to trim off a little bit and then turn it and cut it at 5 1/4. So I just didn't feel like a lot of that showed. That's the great thing about Facebook Live. Hello, Barb. I'm so happy you're here. So we're going to stick this little strip of designer paper down to our card base. Now, I used my Countryside dies to cut a white hexagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 octagon with my basic white paper. And what I'm going to stamp on here is this little bird. Not that bird, this bird. And I chose on this class to use basic gray, and on this card to use basic gray. Sometimes I feel like the Memento ink just is so stark. So we're going to use basic gray today. Oh, that didn't really work. Well, that's because it's not on the right kind of a block. Let me try that again. All right, so we're going to stamp our little birdie. Isn't he cute? All right. Now, while I've got my stamp out, I've cut a little piece of fresh freesia with my Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm going to, oh, I made a big mess here. I'm going to use my sentiments that I'm using for this class. Now, if you take the class and you don't have these sentiments, first of all, you need them because they are fabulous. Let's see where they are. I've covered them up. It's called Timeless Arrangements. Oh yeah, on the floor, of course. So this is the stamp set I chose. It's got so many sentiments, and that's really my favorite part. It's got the really cool set of dies, and it's got some other details to it that you'll love. But I've chosen A Very Big Thank You. So, and I see something that I'm going to do to kind of plus up this card in a second, so stay tuned. So A Very Big is a separate stamp from Thank You. So I'm going to stamp A Very Big here. And then I'm going to stamp the Thank You here. I love this Thank You. I love the font. It's very simple. And I don't know. I love it. Okay. Now we're going to watercolor. So what you're going to need to watercolor is a aqua. Sorry, I always call it an aqua painter. That's what they used to be called. Now they're called water painters. Okay, and I recommend that you get a paper towel or a napkin. Now I've used this on Night of Navy, and you'll see these things, you can just open them up and fill them up with water. So that's what you do, and they open the opposite way that you would think, so do not be alarmed by that. So then you're going to squeeze it and try to get out as much of that navy as you can. So I could have done that before the video, but now you know how to clean your aqua painter or your water painter. And then when you go like that, you can see that you've gotten out what you need to get out. All right, now we're going to take our fresh freesia, and what we're going to do is take a clear block and just smash it in there, and that gets us a little palette of fresh freesia. You can also squeeze the lid of the ink pad and use it straight from there, but I find that is a little bit harder than it used to be because of the new style of the ink pads. So you're just going to squeeze some water out of your water painter. And this one is just not squeezing very well. I had another one out here that was... I think it just needs more water. All right. Got it to squeeze there. So we're going to... Now, if we get too much water on there, then it gets too watery. So there's a fine line, okay? And we're going to just move it around until there's a really small amount. And you can try it on your paper to see, okay, that's about right. That's about how much water I want there. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to just do a very thin... Now, I'm just using basic white cardstock here. You could plus it up and use watercolor paper, but really I'm just using basic white here. You just want to go, I try to go pretty fast and not think about it too hard, because if you really think about it too hard, then you're going to get like in your head about it. But you're literally just getting a lot of water on here and getting some color on your little bird. So the first layer is really thin color. And no two birds are going to be alike in this version. You can see the one I'm doing is very different than the one I did. Now, the reason I love this stamp set is it shows you where it wants you to do things darker. So now we're going to go in here and get a little bit more ink and a little less water. And we're going to come into our area that has the markings. Okay, so we're just going to go right there. we're going to go along this edge of his wing. Something that I noticed that I do when I watercolor sometimes is I might leave a little area right on the edge not colored. Don't do that. Just go in and fill in any little dibs that you left. So we're just putting extra color on there. And then of course all this detail back here, we're going to add some extra color too. And we want to add some right here. So I love this set because it just kind of gives you instructions on where to color things darker. So it's a great set to kind of like learn how to watercolor. I actually like this bird even better than the first one I did, which is fantastic. All right, so we're done with our watercoloring. This one, see, they're very different, but they're both very cute. And I chose just to take one of my Stampin' Write markers to color in the beak. I don't want to get a big glob of water in there. So that's what I did. This is just my pumpkin pie. You could use a blend, just use a very light touch for that nose because it will spread out. All right, so now we're going to take a little snip of our white herringbone ribbon. When you sign up for the class, you'll get this ribbon, and we're going to stick it to the back of this situation with some tearing tape, which I've covered up, but I've got another one close by. All right, so just take off a piece of tearing tape, and we're just going to smack it down to that ribbon. It just holds it there, and I think that's a perfect way to use that really thick, cute, the ribbon is just, to me, it's just perfect because we don't really want to take away from our watercoloring. We want it to just sort of like, not like, we don't want the ribbon to be the focus because we've spent so much time on the watercoloring. So I love this better because you can see this little detail here, and we're gonna stick our sentiment strip on. Now, if you want to be super picky, you can put a dimensional right there, but I'm gonna leave it like it is. And the last thing I did was stick on, these are called pastel sequins. They're over on the other table, so I won't stick those on for you. I've already stuck them on here, but they're actually a pink, petal pink, but they look perfect on here. They blend in with that fresh freesia really well. So I think you should try watercoloring. It's not as hard as you would think, and if you take this class, you're going to make 8 cards, 2 each, with the bird's eye view, and you'll have this designer paper, and you can use any sentiments, but I think this timeless arrangements ones are adorable. Works perfectly. It is a class to go, so it will ship right to your door with videos and PDFs, and you need to go ahead and get signed up. Here are the other cards we're making, so we'll make 2 of each. We've got this cute little guy, he's whispering to his friend. We've got this little library guy. Now, one thing I forgot, I'm gonna just put it on right now, and then you've got this little guy. Isn't he adorable? So one of the cutest things about this stamp set is you have the opportunity to put little eyeglasses on your birds. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp some eyeglasses on my library guide. And this would make a perfect back to school card for a teacher or say a college student. My daughter is going to college on Wednesday for the first time. No, Tuesday, a week from yesterday. So go ahead, sign up for this class. You'll get the materials to make 2 each of these cards, including this one that we made today. So the link is here to sign up. Bye.